There is a Canadian government program that will literally hand you up to $7,200 in free money for a child's education. Just hand it over.
Yeah, it's incredible. But, the rules to actually get it are so complex.
Right. They're so buried in bureaucratic jargon that most parents just end up leaving thousands of dollars on the table. Or even worse, they accidentally trigger these massive tax penalties trying to get the money out. So today, we are hacking that system.
It really is one of the most frustrating paradoxes in personal finance. I mean, you go in wanting to do the right thing for a child's future, and you end up tangled in government acronyms, withdrawal rules, and...
Terrifying warnings about overcontribution limits.
Exactly. It just paralyzes people.
Which is exactly why we are dedicating this deep dive to a brilliant two-pronged strategy to master your financial future. First, we're going to explore how to basically force artificial intelligence to build you a hyper-personalized, expert-level registered education savings plan.
An RES.
Right, an RESP in Canada, specifically for the year 2026. We are turning a chatbot into your personal financial analyst.
But, an AI blueprint, no matter how mathematically perfect it is still just a digital fantasy until it actually meets the real world.
Yeah, for sure.
So the second half of our strategy focuses on execution. We'll explore why taking that AI-generated roadmap to a trusted, multidisciplinary human professional is the ultimate power move to protect and implement that plan.
Specifically, highlighting the comprehensive team at Mooners Financial Services, which we'll get into later. Welcome to the deep dive, by the way. We were thrilled you're here with us. We love combining cutting-edge tech with actual real-world human expertise.
It's the perfect marriage of those two forces, really.
Absolutely. But before we can use AI to solve this problem, we really need to understand why the Canadian RESP system is such a maze in the first place. On the surface, it sounds simple, right? Save money, get a government match. What makes it a trap?
Well, it is all about the rigidity of the mechanics. I mean, the government is willing to help, but only if you play a very specific long-term game.
Okay, so what are the rules?
Let's look at the limits first. There is a lifetime contribution limit of $50,000 per beneficiary. However, there is no annual contribution limit.
Wait, so if I came into an inheritance, I could just drop the entire $50,000 into an RESP for my kid on day one?
You could, but mathematically that is a terrible idea.
Really? Why?
Because of how the grants are structured. The government offers the Canada Education Savings Grant, or the CESG. They match 20% of your contributions, but that match is capped at $500 a year.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so to get that maximum $500, you need to contribute exactly $2,500 annually.
Okay. So if I dump the 50 grand in on day one, I get my $500 grant for that specific year, but I've maxed out my lifetime limit.
Precise.
Meaning for the next 17 years, I can't contribute anymore. And I completely forfeit the remaining $6,700 of free government grant money.
Exactly. You essentially cost yourself nearly $7,000 just by misunderstanding the sequencing.
Wow.
And that is just the baseline CESG. If you are a lower-income family, there is also the Canada Learning Bond, or CLB, which adds even more funds to the account without you even needing to contribute your own money.
And I imagine the rules for applying for and receiving that bond are entirely separate, right?
Oh, completely separate. And we haven't even touched the time limits.
Right. I read that you can make contributions into an RESP for up to roughly 31 years, and the plan itself can remain open for 35 years. So you're managing a moving target over 3 decades.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, you start to see why going to a standard AI chatbot and just typing "how do RESPs work" is completely counterproductive.
Because it's too vague.
Exactly. And AI is essentially an unconstrained engine. If you ask a broad question, it gives a broad generic answer.
Right. Asking an unconstrained AI is like walking into a massive, unorganized library and yelling, "Tell me about college savings." The librarian is going to panic and hand you, an American 529 plan, a British trust fund, and an outdated 2014 Canadian blog post, all mashed together.
That is a perfect way to look at it. You're going to get a lecture on the concept of saving, but zero actionable value.
You have to give the AI the exact Dewey Decimal coordinates of your life.
Mm-hmm.
So if broad questions are a trap, how exactly do we talk to the AI to get those personalized strategies, comparisons, and warnings?
This is where the strategy gets incredibly practical. To get a usable RESP plan, you have to use a master template.
Like a structured prompt.
Yes, a context-rich prompt designed specifically to constrain the AI. You have to force it to act like a professional 2026 analyst.
Okay, let's unpack this. Let's break down the mechanics of this master template. It starts by demanding that you input your exact situation, right?
Right, you don't just say, I have kids.
You say, I am a parent in British Columbia with 2 children aged 5 and 8. Our family net income is approximately $90,000, and 1 child is starting post-secondary in 10 years. You are setting the absolute boundaries of the simulation.
And once you've set those boundaries, the prompt explicitly lists the key areas to cover. It dictates the curriculum the AI must follow.
What's the first thing it covers?
First, it demands information on eligibility and plan types, like should you open a family plan, which pools the money for all siblings, or an individual plan.
Gotcha.
It also prompts the AI to explain the social insurance number, or SIN, requirements to even get the account open.
But the real meat of the prompt is the contribution strategy, isn't it? You're forcing the AI to calculate the optimal amounts and timing to maximize that 500 a year CESG match.
Absolutely, and it even factors in catch-up rules.
Because what if you didn't start when the kid was born? What if they are 10 years old and you have 0 saved?
Exactly. The rules actually allow you to carry forward unused grant room, but only one previous year at a time. Trying to calculate that on a napkin is a total nightmare.
But the AI can build a spreadsheet for it in 2 seconds.
Yeah, the AI is exceptional at calculating those moving variables. But where the template really flexes its power is in the withdrawal phase.
Because putting the money in is only half the battle.
Yeah.
Taking it out is where the real tax landmines are buried.
That's where people get totally lost. When the child goes to school, the money coming out of the RESP is categorized into 2 distinct pools.
Walk us through these 2 pools.
Sure. The first pool is post-secondary education payments, or PSE. This is the principal money, your original contributions.
Right.
Because you already paid income tax on that money before you put it in the RESP, it comes out completely tax-free.
Makes sense. It's my money. I already paid the toll on it. What's the second pool?
The second pool is called Educational Assistance Payments, or EAPs. This pool contains all the government grant money, plus all the compound investment growth generated over the last 15 or 18 years.
And since this money has never been taxed?
When it comes out, it is taxed as income.
Wait, if it's taxed as income, doesn't that defeat the purpose of the shelter? If I pull out 15 grand to pay for tuition, and that gets added to my income for the year, I'm going to get hammered at tax time.
That is the brilliant loophole of the EAP structure. It is not taxed in your hands as the parent. It is taxed in the hands of the student.
Oh, wow. Okay, so the parents put the money in while they're in their peak earning years at a high tax bracket.
Yeah.
But the growth is taxed at the 18-year-old's tax bracket.
Exactly. And since an 18-year-old full-time student is probably just working a part-time retail job, they make practically $0.
Their basic personal tax exemption wipes out the tax completely. It's effectively tax-free growth.
It is a massive wealth transfer mechanism if done correctly. But think about what happens if you sequence those withdrawals wrong.
Oh.
Imagine a parent gets confused and pulls heavily from the PSE, their own tax-free principal, during the first 3 years of university.
Leaving all the grant money in the account.
Right. Then, in the 4th year, the student gets a great paying internship and suddenly has a real income. Now, the parent tries to empty the rest of the account, pulling exclusively from the EAP pool.
Oh, no.
That grant money and growth is suddenly piled on top of the student's new internship income, triggering thousands in completely unnecessary taxes.
Or even worse, the student decides to drop out after year 2, and because the parent only pulled their own principal out, the government grant money is still sitting in the account, and you eventually have to give it back to the government.
Exactly. That is terrifying.
Which makes total sense why the master template explicitly commands the AI to list common mistakes to avoid. You are proactively asking the machine to look for the potholes before you start driving.
It is a defensive strategy built right into the query. But the real genius of this template, the mechanism that prevents the AI from turning into a liability, is the final command.
What's that?
The prompt tells the AI to base its answer strictly on official sources like Canada.ca, the Canada Revenue Agency, and Employment and Social Development Canada.
The CRA and ESDC. But isn't an AI model already trained on the entire internet? Why do we have to explicitly name those specific Canadian government acronyms?
Because of how large language models fundamentally work, they don't actually know anything. They operate by predicting the next most likely word based on the massive data sets they ingested.
Oh, I see.
If you don't anchor the AI to official Canadian sources, it will pull from the most dominant data available online, which is overwhelmingly American.
Oh, so it starts hallucinating. It'll confidently blend a Canadian RESP rule with an American 529 college savings plan penalty and present it to you as absolute fact.
Exactly. It will invent tax penalties that don't exist or promise tax deductions that aren't real. By forcing it to base its answers purely on official sources, you drastically reduce the hallucination risk.
You are essentially building a highly restricted sandbox that the AI is not allowed to step out of.
Hmm.
Okay, so we have this highly structured, defensively built master prompt. But what if my situation isn't standard?
What do you mean?
Like, what if I'm a parent listening to this right now and my kid is already 12 years old, I have a little bit saved in a regular bank account, and I feel like I'm way behind? Does the AI just tell me I've missed the boat?
Not at all. The beauty of this strategy is that you modify the template for specific life cycle scenarios. For your situation, you would use what is called an optimization prompt.
How did that work?
You tell the AI, I have a 12-year-old, I have 5,000 saved outside an RESP, our family net income is 80,000, and I can commit 300 a month going forward.
Okay.
You then command the AI to map out exactly how to maximize the catch-up grants before the child turns 17, assuming a 5 to 7% compounding return.
So it literally builds a year-by-year personalized financial spreadsheet right there on the screen.
Exactly. It shows you the math. And the scenarios adapt to whatever stage you are in. If you are a beginner with a newborn, the prompt asks for a step-by-step guide to opening the account.
Even comparing promoter choices,
Yeah.
right? Like using a traditional big bank versus a self-directed brokerage account.
Yep. And it works for the end game, too. If you have a child starting university next month with 40,000 sitting in the RESP, you use a withdrawal scenario.
Asking the AI to detail the exact most tax-efficient order to withdraw those EAP and PSE funds over 4 years to ensure the student pays zero tax.
You can even run comparative scenarios, debating whether to open a family plan for 3 kids or 3 separate individual plans. Ask the AI to weigh the pros and cons based on your specific age gaps.
Wow.
The AI can iterate instantly. You can run dozens of these what-if scenarios in an hour, exploring every angle of your financial life without the fear of judgment or the anxiety of wasting a human advisor's time with basic questions.
Okay, well, I have to push back here. If the AI is this incredibly powerful, if it can successfully map out a 5 to 7% return, sequence my withdrawals perfectly to dodge taxes, and cross-reference official CRA guidelines in seconds, why do we even need the second half of this strategy?
I'm glad you asked.
I mean, if I have this perfect master template, can't I just trust the machine to run my finances and be done with it?
This raises an important question, maybe the most important question of the entire deep dive, and it is the exact pivot point where people ruin their finances.
Really?
Yes, AI is an unparalleled informational tool. It is a brilliant synthesizer of rules and a generator of mathematical scenarios, but it is entirely devoid of context outside the parameters you gave it, and critically, it carries absolutely zero accountability.
Like, it doesn't have malpractice insurance.
No, it doesn't. If the AI misunderstands a recent tax law update, or if you accidentally input your gross income instead of your net income and it completely throws off the grant eligibility calculations, the AI doesn't face any consequences. You do.
The CRA penalizes you, not the chatbot.
Exactly. Executing these plans in the physical world requires a holistic view of your entire financial life, a view a digital tool simply cannot hold.
Which brings us perfectly to the critical human element. Here's where it gets really interesting. An RESP, as complicated and mathematically optimized as it might be on your screen, is still just one isolated silo of your life.
Right.
You are not just a parent saving for college. You might also be a homeowner dealing with rising interest rates, an employee trying to save for retirement, or someone managing debt. You cannot optimize one area of your finances in a vacuum.
Exactly. And this is why taking that AI blueprint to a comprehensive, multidisciplinary team like Muner's Financial Services is where the real value is unlocked.
Because they can see the whole board.
Yes, Muneris represents the structural necessity of human integration. When you have a highly detailed RESP strategy, you need a team that understands how that specific strategy impacts every other pillar of your wealth.
Let's make that concrete. The incredible advantage of Muner's Financial Services is that their experienced team includes licensed mortgage and real estate brokers. They offer comprehensive guidance throughout incredibly complex transactions.
Which is huge.
Right. So think about the real-world friction here. You use the AI, and the AI tells you that to maximize your kids' education grants, you must contribute $400 a month, every month, for the next 10 years. Great. But what happens in year 3 when your mortgage comes up for renewal and your monthly housing cost suddenly jumps by $800?
The AI breaks.
Yeah.
The chatbot cannot negotiate your new mortgage rate. It cannot guide you through the closing of a real estate transaction to free up capital, but the team at Minoris can.
Because they handle mortgages and real estate in-house.
Exactly. They can look at your $400 a month RESP commitment and restructure your mortgage to ensure you have the cash flow to maintain both. They integrate the isolated variable of education savings into the physical reality of your living situation.
It is about removing the silos. You don't have to explain your RESP goals to an investment guy and then drive across town to explain it all over again to a mortgage broker who has no idea what the investment guy is doing.
It saves so much time and stress.
And it goes even deeper than that. The firm's CEO, Mansour Khalili, is a qualified life insurance broker. This is a massive piece of the puzzle.
Oh, absolutely.
Because what happens to that beautifully modeled AI-generated 15-year education spreadsheet if the primary breadwinner unexpectedly passes away or becomes critically ill in year 5?
The plan collapses instantly. The contributions stop, the government grants stop, and the compounding interest is completely derailed. The digital blueprint cannot protect you from human tragedy.
Right.
That is why having access to expert advice across multiple financial disciplines, all from a single, trusted source like Muneris, is vital.
Right. Mansour Khalili and the team can take a look at your exact AI-generated RESP targets and say, okay, if you don't live to fund this, it takes exactly $60,000 to replace these future contributions. And they can structure a specific life insurance policy to protect that exact education goal.
They build a financial fortress around the math.
I love that. A financial fortress.
It's about structural reinforcement. The AI provides the ultimate mathematical optimization, but human professionals provide the resilience and the real-world execution. It shifts the dynamic entirely.
How so?
Well, you no longer walk into a professional's office completely blind, asking basic questions. You use the AI template to educate yourself, to run the scenarios, and to define your goals.
And then you bring that high-level preparation to the team at Muneris.
Yes, to fact-check it, stress-test it against your mortgage, protect it with life insurance, and actually pull the trigger.
It is the ultimate 1-2 punch for your wealth. If you are listening to this right now and realizing that you have brilliant financial ideas, but a massive gap when it comes to real-world holistic execution, you need to bridge that gap.
It's so important.
Having a direct line to a team that handles mortgages, real estate, and life insurance under one roof is incredibly powerful. To connect with the team, you can reach out to Muneris Financial Services by cell at 778-898-3202.
And they're really responsive.
Yeah, you can email the CEO directly at mansour@muneris.com. That's MANSOUR at muneris.com. Or you can explore their multidisciplinary approach on their website at muneris.com. Again, that's 778-898-3202 or mansour@muneris.com.
Taking that step removes so much friction. It transforms a complex, anxiety-inducing process like managing an RESP into a streamlined piece of a much larger, very secure financial picture.
So what does this all mean for you? It means the era of being intimidated by complex government programs is over. You now understand the mechanics of the Canadian RESP.
You know how the CDSG matching works?
Yep, and you understand the brilliant tax loophole of EAP withdrawals. Most importantly, you have the strategy to conquer the jargon. You can use a structured, highly constrained 2026 master template to force AI to do the heavy lifting, calculating the grants, modeling the growth, and dodging the tax penalties.
But you also know the absolute limits of that technology. You know that an AI hallucination can cost you thousands in CRA penalties.
Definitely.
You know that to turn a digital blueprint into a secure reality, you must cross-check and execute that strategy with a trusted, comprehensive human team.
A team like Muneris Financial Services ensures your education savings don't exist in a vacuum, but fit perfectly into the larger puzzle of your mortgage, your real estate investments, and your family's insurance protection.
It is about combining the calculating power of artificial intelligence with the irreplaceable, holistic wisdom of human professionals.
Which leaves us with a lingering question for you to ponder as we wrap up today. If AI can instantly map out an 18-year, tax-optimized education plan, and comprehensive human experts can seamlessly weave that plan into your mortgage, your real estate, and your life insurance.
What else is missing?
Exactly. What other major life milestones are you currently under-optimizing? Simply because you haven't combined these two forces yet. Think about it. We will see you next time on The Deep Dive.